Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here with Malik, curators of the Classified Archive. We left Aldrich Ames last time, and as the investigation continued, the question remained. How could they catch the mole before he struck again? The clock was ticking. Today, we pick up where we left off. In the spring of 1994, the CIA faced a crisis like no other. Trust had been shattered, with the agency's very core under scrutiny. Analysts were sifting through mountains of data, desperate for clarity in a chaotic landscape. The investigation into Aldrich Ames was finally gaining momentum, but time was not on their side. They knew they had to connect the dots quickly, or risk letting more secrets slip through their fingers, causing irreparable damage to national security.
But Aurelius, the chaos wasn't just about data. It was about lives lost, and the stories behind those losses. The emotional toll on agents and informants creates layers of betrayal that numbers can't capture. When trust is shattered, it scars everyone involved. Families are torn apart, friendships broken. This isn't merely an intelligence failure. It's a deep human tragedy that reaches far beyond the spreadsheets and reports. We can't forget the people behind the figures.
You're not wrong about the human cost, but the evidence was chilling. Analysts discovered that Ames's unauthorized disclosures to the KGB led to the execution of several CIA informants. One case that really stands out is Dmitry Polyakov, a high-ranking Soviet military officer. He was a critical asset for over a decade, providing invaluable intelligence. His death wasn't just a loss. It sent shockwaves through our operations. It's a stark reminder of the risks involved in espionage.
Polyakov was more than just an asset. He was a lifeline for the CIA, providing essential intelligence on Soviet capabilities. His execution sent shockwaves through the agency. To lose such a valuable source meant the entire network was compromised. The emotional fallout is often overlooked in discussions of espionage, yet it shapes the agency's future.
The implications were staggering. Polyakov's execution came on the heels of a serious breach in CIA communications. This wasn't just a minor oversight. It underscored a substantial failure in counterintelligence. The agency had placed unwavering trust in Ames, a trust that ultimately proved deadly. The vulnerability didn't just affect a few. It spread like wildfire among agents, creating a chilling atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. We can only imagine the paranoia that gripped them, knowing their lives hinged on fragile loyalties.
And that fear was palpable. In a 1995 interview, Robert H. Taylor articulated the sense of vulnerability that permeated the agency. They had to grapple with the fact that their trust in one of their own led to lethal consequences. That's not just a blow to morale. It's a fundamental crisis of identity for the CIA.
As investigators delved deeper into the chaos, witness statements painted a grim picture of the fallout from Ames's leaks. Colleagues of Polyakov stressed the urgency to uncover the mole, fearing that more betrayals could surface at any moment. This sense of urgency echoed throughout the agency, amplifying the anxiety. The looming threat of further treachery created a frantic race against time, one that had the potential to unravel the fragile trust that kept the empire functioning.
It wasn't just about finding Ames. It was about salvaging what was left of their operational integrity. Analysts understood that every document they sifted through represented real people, with families and stories, not just cold data points. The stakes were far too high. If they didn't act quickly, the fallout could ripple out, affecting the lives of countless informants who trusted them to keep them safe.
Concrete evidence began to emerge. Surveillance records, for instance, revealed unusual communication patterns between Ames and KGB operatives that raised eyebrows. On March 12, 1994, intercepted messages from Ames included highly sensitive information tied to imminent informant executions. This established a troubling timeline that linked his actions directly to the deaths. We can see how these connections painted a chilling picture of betrayal, showcasing the lengths to which individuals would go when caught in the web of espionage.
That timeline isn't just chilling. It's a haunting reminder of the agency's failures. If they had a mole for nearly a decade, the ramifications were catastrophic. It was a betrayal that could extend beyond individuals, compromising the credibility of the entire CIA. They needed to confront this reality, not just for themselves, but for those who had trusted them.
The agency's Financial Crimes Unit began to investigate Ames' unusual cash withdrawals. In April 1993, he withdrew $10,000, which was a stark contrast to his modest salary. This kind of financial behavior raised serious red flags for the investigators. It suggested a deeper connection between his mounting financial troubles and his espionage activities. As we dig deeper, we see how these seemingly small actions can intensify the scrutiny on an individual, ultimately unraveling a much larger narrative.
That scrutiny into Ames's finances was crucial, no doubt about it. It painted a broader picture of his duplicity and showed just how deep his betrayal ran. The CIA knew every moment counted. They were racing against time, driven by the fear that more informants could be compromised. Each day brought new risks, new lives at stake. They felt the pressure to bring justice and accountability not just for themselves, but for all those who trusted Ames and were affected by his actions.
The chilling evidence was mounting faster than we could have anticipated. The clock was ticking, and the stakes were higher than ever before. Investigators had to act decisively to protect those who still remained in the shadows. They were faced with a critical moment in the agency's history, one that demanded immediate action and reform. How could they catch the mole before he struck again? Every second counted, and failure was not an option. The weight of history bore down on them.
That's where we leave it this time. Aldrich Ames continuous. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Classified Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.